increasing, decreasing function, maxima, minima, and absolute maximum and minimum. So let's start with increasing and decreasing function. So let's say if we have a function which is continuous and differentiable in an interval, let's say f of x is continuous in the closed interval a to b, is continuous in closed interval a to b and differentiable in the open interval a to b, then with x increasing, let's say x1 is less than x2, and if we have function of x1 less than or equal to f of x2, then we say it is the function f of x is monotonic increasing. And if for x1 is greater than x1 is less than x2 with f of x1 less than x2, then function is strictly increasing. If x1 less than x2, f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2, the function is monotonic decreasing. And if x1 is less than x2, for f of x1 greater than f of x2, this function is strictly decreasing. That is, if your x is increasing and along with that the function of x is also increasing, then the function is increasing. Whereas if x is increasing and the function value is decreasing, then we say the function is a decreasing function. So we can check a graph like this. Let's say this is, and let's say another graph is this, and another graph is this. So in this case we can see, like, as x is increasing, the function value is also increasing. In this case, as x is increasing, the function value is constant. As x is increasing, the function value is decreasing. So in all these three cases, what we can see is this is increasing, this is a constant, and this is a decreasing function. Now whether the derivative, so mathematically what we can do is, mathematically we can check this by the derivatives. So if f dash of x is greater than equal to 0, then it is increasing or non-decreasing function. That is also okay, non-decreasing function. But if f dash of x is greater than 0, it is strictly increasing. It is strictly increasing. For this case, the derivative will be 0, and for decreasing, mathematically the derivative will be less than equal to 0. So this is decreasing. But if the derivative is always less than 0, it is strictly decreasing. So that is how we can check it mathematically, being in the region defined. Now let's talk about maxima and minima. Of course, considering all the same conditions, like f of x is defined for an interval where it is continuous and differentiable, then if we are taking a certain point C, let's say C, of course in that region, if the function value around that C satisfies the condition that f of x is, let's say, less than f of C, then we can say C is a maxima, or we can say it is having a relative maximum, right? At a local level, a point C is there, and for the values around that C, if f of x is less than f of C, then we can say it is a maxima or a relative maximum. Similarly, if say C in that interval or in that domain, f of x around that C satisfies that f of x is greater than f of C, then C will be given as a minima or a relative minimum. So at a local level, it is going to be a relative minimum, right? Of course, we can check this graphically, and we can also check how to do it mathematically. So let's see maxima, minima. For maxima, the graph of the curve or function will be like this, whereas the graph or curve will be like this. So this is concave down. Of course, you can see this is concave down, whereas this one is concave up. It is concave up. Now, where to check these values, whether it is a maxima or minima? We'll check at stationary point. We'll see what is stationary point. It is the point where the first derivative is going to be 0. So at stationary point, that is for x being in that interval, obviously the defined interval, we are talking about the defined interval. So this df by dx is 0, let's say at x is equal to a being the value within that domain, right? So, or you can say f dash of a equal to 0. So this is the critical point. This is the critical point or the stationary point at which we are going to check whether it is going to be a maxima or minima. Now, mathematically, if we are trying to check, this is possible if we can find the double derivative at x is equal to a, and if it is less than 0. Similarly, if the double derivative at a is greater than 0, this x is equal to a is going to be minima. There is also another condition, we'll see that, but apart from that, this maxima and minima are together known as extrema. Together known as extrema. So if there are, let's say there are three numbers of maxima and two numbers of minima, then they may ask what is the total number of extrema. They can say 3 plus 2 is equal to 5, right? And by this I have already made it clear that there can be more than one maxima or minima in the interval or the domain. So there can be more than one maxima or minima. Now we can see what is. Other than that, once we have checked for the double derivative, there are chances that the double derivative may be 0, right? So of course we are talking about stationary point. At stationary point, if the double derivative is 0 and the third derivative is not equal to 0, then x is equal to a is point of inflection. This is point of inflection. Although there are other conditions also to find the point of inflection, this is not the only condition, but since we will be dealing in maxima and minima, we'll be only checking for extrema or the stationary points, right? While we are discussing point of inflection here in this topic of maxima and minima, we are only going to check for the stationary points where the first derivative is 0. So for that case only we'll check if the second derivative is 0 and third derivative is not 0, then we can say that it is going to be point of inflection. Otherwise, graphically and also in the strict manner, this point of inflection is a point where the concavity of the curve changes. The concavity of the curve changes. So if the curve was concave down and then it changes to concave up, so this is concave down, this is concave up, at some point it has a change of concavity, right? So this change of concavity gives the point of inflection. Also for this maxima and minima, let's check a general graph. Let's say this is x, this is f of x. Then somewhere this point, this one, and let's say this one. These are all extremas A, B, C, D, E, where you can see that the derivative, first order derivative will be 0, right? And we can see that this is a maxima or I'll write it here, maxima. This is a minima. This is a maxima. This is a minima. And this is also a maxima. So we are having 3 maxima and 2 minima, and you can also see that, like, check this B, x is equal to B. This is a minima, and at A we have a maxima. So this is a maximum value only at a relative interval. Whereas if you compare it with a D point where D is a minima, although D is a minima, but it is having a value more than the maxima at x is equal to A, because this is a maxima at its own local level, and this is D is a minima at its own local level. It may be greater than other maxima also. There are chances for that, like we can see in this graph. We have to see about absolute maximum and minimum. Absolute maximum or minimum, which will also be known as global maximum or minimum. So this maxima and minima which we have read was a maxima or minima at the local level, at a very local level, at a point very near to some interval very near to some point, let's say x equal to c. But when we are talking about x is a maximum or a minimum at global or absolute value, absolute level, then it means for the domain provided, for the domain or interval, absolute maximum or minimum will be the greatest or lowest value for the function f of x. So of course that means that these values are unique, right? These values are going to be unique. There can be only one greatest value or one lowest value, right? And the steps to check this is, we have to check the function value at critical points and the endpoints. So of course for the continuous closed interval, let's say a b, and if it is closed interval you can write in that manner also. So for a continuous closed interval we have to check function value at critical points. What is this critical points? This is the stationary point and the points where function is not, or function's derivative is undefined. Fine. So we have to check the function value at critical points, that is stationary point where the derivative is 0, or the points where the function derivative is not defined. Other than that, we will check it at endpoints. So there are three places where we'll have to check the values, that is critical points, that is stationary points, and second second is the points at which the derivative is not defined, and third at which are the endpoints of that interval defined. So we have to make sure that the critical points we are talking about must be in the interval. Interval in the sense the interval they are asking us for. Like we said, the interval is a comma b, then all these stationary points or the points where the derivative is not defined, it should lie in that same interval a b. If any of the point is out of the interval, we don't check the function value for that point. And of course endpoints are always there, that is f of a and f of b. So we'll check all these three values, and the one which will have the maximum value will be the absolute maximum, and the one which will have the minimum value will be the absolute minimum value, right? So you can say absolute maximum will be the largest value among these, and absolute minimum will be the lowest or smallest value among these. Among these what? The critical points and the endpoints, right? So overall we can find the absolute maximum and minimum. Apart from that, there are possibility that we may have a function of two variable which is implicit. So for a two variable implicit function, let's say f of x y, if we have to find the maxima or minima, what we can do is, first we can find the critical points, that is where df by dx is equal to 0 and df by dy equal to 0. Then we can find some values such as r is equal to d2 f by dx square, s is equal to d2 f by dx dy, and t is equal to d2f by dy square. So we'll find all these values at the critical point. Of course there can be more than one critical point, and let's say just for an example we have alpha and beta. Let's say this one of the critical point for this function is alpha and beta. So we'll find r, which is the double derivative in terms of x. Double derivative in terms of x and y will be s, and double derivative in terms of y will be t. So finding all these three values, next we need the conditions if r into t is greater than s square with r less than 0, then alpha beta, the critical point, will be a maxima, and with r into t greater than s square with r greater than 0, the alpha beta is minima, and if r into t is less than s square there will be no maxima or no minima. It will be known as saddle point. And if R into T is equal to S square, you may have further investigation or no solution. So in case this R into T becomes equal to S square, we can either choose the further investigation. We can either choose further investigation or no solution. So this will be about the implicit functions, and of course we'll see examples on this.